Hello everyone, it is Republic here to do one of the most interesting comparisons, I think, of all time. The Clone Trooper Command Station set versus the Clone Troopers versus Droidkas set. Now, the Clone Troopers versus Droidkas set did come out back in 2013 for only $12.99 adjusted for inflation, and now that's about $15.55. And then this one over here, the Clone Trooper Command Station set, is one of the first LEGO Star Wars minifigure packs, again, coming with 3 minifigures as opposed to the 2 official ones that come in this one, retailing for $14.99 with 66 pieces in 2022. Now, this is such an interesting comparison because of how different they are, and I thought a big factor was going to be the price difference, because while that one over there was originally $12, $13, and this one's $15, actually, again, if you adjust it for inflation, this one's about 55 cents more. But, you know, for all intents and purposes, we'll say they're roughly the same price. Now, there is so much to discuss with this whole thing, so I am going to ask you all, if you like LEGO Star Wars, then you have to hit that subscribe button. We're gunning for 30,000 subs, and it would mean the world to me. We have until the end of the month to hit it, so again, make sure to press that button if you like LEGO Star Wars, and we're going to get right on into our comparison. You guys know how most comparisons work. Here we have a comparison sheet. We are going to be judging based off the minifigures, builds, features, overall value, and final thoughts I have on each set, and whichever, gets the most check marks, we add up, and then the one with the most check marks obviously wins. Now, again, the prices are $15.55 and $14.99, effectively the same price. But if you do want to be picking up the OG Clone Trooper vs. Droidka pack, it is going to set you back roughly $40 to $50 sealed. I paid about $40 for this one opened, so it really depends. With that said, let's start off with the box art. Now, usually I don't love covering box art with these. It's a great, measure for what's a better set, but I do find it inherently interesting how different these types of sets are. There are so many, glaring problems with each of them, but they're all, overall both not awful. Now, the big complaint, if you guys remember, with the 2013 Clone Troopers vs. Droidka set is it only came with 2 minifigures and 2 Droidka builds. Droidkas don't count as minifigures, you can't tell me otherwise. And of course, you only actually got 1 army buildable character. You got a sergeant, which is okay, but nothing insane. And again, that problem, comes over here with the Clone Commander. He is not an army buildable character, but you do at least get 3 figures. So you get 2 army buildable guys and then 1 non-army buildable guy. So it's just such an interesting comparison. And again, in terms of the box design, they are very relatively different. You do get a look at like actual real Clone Troopers on the boxes and gunships. Here you get a look at the Petronaki Arena. Again, you get the Yoda at top, and you get all that type of shebang. But of course, I won't be grading this set on its box art, so it's time to really start off looking at the minifigs. Now, here's a look at basically the quote-unquote minifigures. Now, obviously, these are minifigures, and those are minifigures. These are not minifigures. I don't know what people are thinking, and again, minifigures being in a battle pack, I feel like is a pretty big deal, and qualifying 2 of them as these builds right here, that's just a big no-no. Those are not figures, but, I'm just going to take them away. Really, what we're going to be comparing here is these guys. I'm going to be counting those as a part of the build, so when we get into that. But yeah, so realistically, you're getting 2 in this set and 3 in this set. Now, the big problem, again, with this one, as I addressed, you're getting a sergeant and a regular guy, so you need to buy a bunch of these if you wanted to get an army of just regular plain Phase 1 Clone Troopers. And plus, an annoying thing, you just have a bunch of green sergeants that you don't want in your army. You'd much rather have ones like this. Or that, obviously. So yeah, that is the thing that this one certainly, wins in. You do get 2 Clone Trooper minifigures, and it is much better, and I'd say you're basically subbing out with this Clone Commander. You're basically instead getting these guys, you have to pick your poison. What do you want, a minifigure or 2 builds? And I quite honestly think I'm going to go for the minifigure just because I feel like they're better values overall than, say, Droidka builds. Not that these Droidka builds are particularly awful. They're just alright. They're not the best Droidka builds. They're not the worst. But I think I have to, give this to the clones in the Clone Command Station set, because the other one just has a lot of problems with figures, and no matter how you really qualify them, it's just not really going to work in favor of them. So for the minifigure section, of course, the win goes to the 2022 set. Now, the 2 builds are very, very interesting, and obviously that is the thing we are going to be judging on in this section. Now, with the new 2022 set, you are getting a smaller version than the previous version of the Clone Trooper Command Station. You can only actually fit, say, 1 Clone Trooper in here, and, in terms of the build, it's a nice build. It's very structurally stable, as I break it.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
And then you also do get this little weapons rack, which is a great feature. You get lots of blasters and stuff to hold on, which is nice, and they're additional blasters, not like you have to put the ones they're holding on here, but it's just a pretty simple build. And again, I love the Clone Trooper command station design. I think it's great when, you're playing with Legos and you get to have, your command station to command all your troopers in your army. Now, as for this boy right here, this is a very interesting build too. I'd argue this one is already better, so you guys probably know where I'm going with this. You also do get seats for every single minifigure to sit in here. Again, I have a full review detailing all of that here. And you can also, do all of this. You can move it around. You can shoot out. And you can do things like that. You can panel it all up. And overall, just because you're getting a sheer size, plus again, you do get the Droidkas, which I'm counting as builds and not as figures. And for sheer size reasons, and seeing it as they're the same exact price, relatively speaking, I'm going to have to give the build to the 2013 set because it just overall looks way better and it's way more usable. Now here is certainly the hardest part for me to come up with, and that is the features. On one hand, with the 2022 set, the thing they do great, and probably not as great as, say, the Hoth minifigure pack, but still very well, they incorporate a ton of blasters to be included. You get 2 extra long rifles, and you get these 2 shorter ones. You, again, do get the whole little area in here. But if you move over to this side, you do, again, get 3 seats, which I guess counts as a play feature, and then you also do get the feature where you can lift this down and shoot out, say, your missile. You could arc it however you please. And you could just kind of fire it up. Obviously, usually the clones are sitting down for that. And you could just load it back up, which is very cool. And also, you do get storage for your minifigures weapons in this area back here, which is pretty cool. And then I guess technically speaking, you could roll up your Droidka, and you could have him, I guess, roll around like this. That would be a little difficult in my opinion, but I guess it works. Now, I was almost going to give this almost a tie-breaking thing, but I think overall in terms of features, this is a battle pack over here as opposed to a minifigure pack over here, and you do get significantly more play features than this set, and battle packs obviously are great for the younger ones, so I think the old set wins in terms of the features category. Now this next section is by far the toughest, and this is the best overall value of a set, and usually the winner of this indicates the winner of this entire competition, but this one is extraordinarily difficult. And I've spent hours trying to contemplate which is better. Now, a thing to consider, assuming these are all around the same price roughly, with this one, you do get only 2 minifigures, which is extremely disappointing. And one of them is not army buildable, so you have to buy a ton of these to army build. And in this one, you're objectively just getting better figures, especially in terms of army buildability, which is what these are both structured for. One's a battle pack, one is a minifigure pack, explicitly with the intention of, building your army. With that being said, again, the yellow Clone Trooper is a weak sauce character, and we'll discuss that a little bit in my final thoughts section. And another thing to consider is in terms of the older one, for the same relative price, you are getting that command station that is over double time what this one is. It is certainly much larger, and on top of that you are getting the 2 Droidkas, as with this one you are also getting the tiny station. So it is difficult because while we weigh figures significantly heavier than we would with a battle pack, and while we weigh figures significantly heavier with these types of sets compared to the build is still a pretty huge factor. And it's really a difficult decision, especially since overall value is pretty much how we determine, which one wins for the most part. Like, you'll know which way it's going based on that. And I don't think that this one is one we could really do, which is why I am going to, for the first time in Republic Studs comparison history, give this a draw, because they both have very unique overall values, and I don't think that, this having a bigger build with an extra, say, Droidka type build, replacing the weapon stand, is entirely worth it. It's a very interesting trade-off, which, I find kind of fascinating. So I hate being indecisive, but we're just going to cross off this category altogether, and now it is solely down to my final thoughts to determine if this ends up being a draw or a win for the 2013 Battle Pack. Now we are going to my last section on the final thoughts of these sets. and to be honest, they're quite interesting. Now, really what you're looking at here is a trade-off. Now, with this, you are getting double the build of this set. You're getting double the size of the command station. You're getting a much more interactive command station where you fit 3 figures. You're getting the 2 Droidka builds. And with this, you are getting basically half the size of the command station. But with that, you are also getting a extra Phase 1 plain white clone trooper. So it's really up to you to determine and look at what would be a more valuable thing. And I think when most people look at these types of sets, like battle packs or minifigure packs, the thing that they most care about is the minifigures, which is why I am going to be giving my final thoughts to the Clone Trooper Command Station set. Now, if you add up the points we get from these, you get 2 votes on one hand and 2 votes on the other hand, making this our first official tie of a set, which is kind of insane to think about. I've never tied a set before, but really what, again, you're exchanging the 1 white Clone Trooper for is in favor of the Droidka and the double-sized build. So in the comments below, I want you to tell me which is the best set. I'm going to be leaving a poll, and you guys will be able to vote in it, and I guess the winner will have in the pinned comment after a day or two to determine which one you guys think is the best, because I'm really quite curious to hear. Again, with the other one, you're getting much more prominent stuff, but you're lacking that extra figure. And the thing that is so unique about this battle pack is it sucked back in the day, but today it just doesn't seem as awful. And the reason it sucked again was because you only got the 2 figures and one of them was not as desirable to have multiples of. So realistically, you're getting 2 clones versus 1 clone in here, but you're getting way more in here. It's such a weird thing. Again, you're getting almost 50 more pieces in this set right here. So I want you to really consider all this when you're voting down below. And with that said, I will see you guys on the next one. Tell me your favorite down below and stay tuned for our Hoth minifigure pack comparison to the old Rebel battle pack. That's it. I'll see you all in the next one. Remember to peace out and stay awesome.